Hello and welcome to another show of the Amadeus Mobility Talks. Today from Windsor in England. Here you have a very different background than what you normally have when we do that in our corporate headquarters in Madrid. Today I have the pleasure to talk with Joe Goodwin. Joe, you are Senior Director of Technology and Partner Integration of Hertz, but you're holding as well the position as Chairman of the Association of Car Rental Industry System Standards, or known as ACRISS in the industry. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
I mentioned you're working for Hertz, but today we will be focusing on the association. And could you please introduce yourself and the association to the audience?
Certainly. As you said, my name is Joseph Goodwin. I work with the Hertz Corporation, but in the work that I do with ACRISS, I am one of 4 car rental companies that represent the industry interests, I guess you could say, of the car rental industry. Myself from Hertz, we have representatives from Avis Budget, from Europe Car, and from Enterprise. And we rotate the chairmanship every couple of years so that we have equal representation from all of our members at any given time. It's my honor to be the chairman of the organization this year. And I follow in the footsteps of some really good chairmen that we've had in the past. The organization itself is meant to provide a guide for the industry. We try to set system standards where we can and recommend the adoption of those system standards across the industry. Although we concentrate on Europe, Middle East, and Africa, we also are looking into more involvement with the Asia Pacific, North America, and Latin America zones as well. We do things such as codifying car code standards, treatment of the information that we give to our rental customers. We work with industry leaders in the partner organization, the GDSs, the Global Distribution Systems, to aid in the adoption of these standards. That way that the customer has less confusion that when they are requesting a certain car, that car represents a certain size, a certain class, a certain type of equipment, and even down to certain models. We have an industry partner who advises us on car features as they come out from the OEMs, from the original equipment manufacturers. And they assist us with making sure that we can get that information to our customers in an equal and transparent manner.
Joe, you mentioned the car rental companies, which are the principal members, I think I could say, of the association. But Amadeus is very proud to be a member of ACRISS as well, yes, to participate in working with the organization in order to set standards, right? And I think the main goal of ACRISS is that travelers or consumers can really book car rental with confidence. That's since a very long time the goal of ACRISS in the different distribution channels, of course. So how is ACRISS doing that actually? Can you give concrete examples?
I certainly can. First off, we have work groups that draw from representatives from all of our members, not just the car rental companies, but the travel industry partners as well, to get together to try to talk about the different changes that we can make in the organization, the different levels of transparency. We currently have 2 working groups right now who are working on better standards for car features. For example, there's a huge interest right now in carbon footprint, in the, I guess you could say, the ecological impact of renting cars. And a lot of companies have regulatory standards that they have to meet in their choice of car and the impact that it has on the environment. So we're working to make those transparencies available to all consumers by having all of us work from a common framework. That way there is no confusion as to what it is you're getting and what are the value of those indicators that you need. We're also working on location coding features as well, so that when there are certain aspects to a location, such as the availability of certain services at a location, that we have a way for all of the car rental companies to represent that information in the same way so that our consuming partners can be confident in getting the information in a similar manner for each one.
ACRISS, we have meetings like every quarter to sit together, all the members and the associate members.
That's correct.
To monitor the progress we are making, right? You mentioned transparency. What are the biggest challenges you would say the car rental industry is facing today in terms of transparency and standards?
Some of them have to do, of course, with regulatory changes, especially in the Europe zone and in the UK. There's been a lot of changes lately regarding the handling of the EV and having to adapt to those rapidly and in a thorough manner has proven to be a challenge because the industry standards change so often. In addition, we have an opportunity to look at car automation features that are becoming much more sophisticated with the onset of technology. In addition, as new cars are introduced into the market, there can be slight differences that maybe don't seem that much to be on the surface. But for example, if a certain car manufacturer uses the same brand on a different class of vehicle, can lead to industry confusion. So we try to guide our customers through that process through codifying and standardizing that information as it's distributed out from our services. One of the best examples of what we're doing to make that information available to our partners and our members is something we call the ACRISS Cloud. It originally started out as the ACRISS Image Cloud, a way to bring car images in a common format to our customers, allowing each one of our car rental companies to submit their imagery that they wanted to represent their brand with, and putting it in a one-stop shop so that all partners could download and use that information on their own presentation sites, instead of having to source that information independently and separately from each car rental company. It saves a lot of time and saves a lot of confusion. In addition to that, we have actual data that we transmit through this about the cars themselves, the features, the quality, the types of cars and where they stand, the models that are available within those car classes. All of this information helps to get that information quickly into the customer's hands from one central location. You no longer have varying update schedules from different car rental companies. The value proposition of the ACRISS Cloud is for car rental companies to have one place to send their data to, instead of having to communicate with all the partners across the globe. The partners themselves then no longer have to worry about communicating separately with each car rental company to acquire this information. It's an amazing resource, not just for the efficiency that it gives, but the consistency that it gives as well.
So you're providing this service to the members, to the car rental companies, but as well to the partners like Amadeus?
That's correct.
Is that open to non-members?
We have a sliding scale of fees that we use for the service itself, depending on the size of the car rental company.
It could help other car rental companies which are not members to streamline the management of the data and images.
That's correct.
Okay, interesting. What we hear that no-shows in the industry is still a pain point, right? If I compare the car rental industry with the hotel industry, in the hotel industry, no-shows is pretty much a uniform standard already. It's very unlikely that you can book a hotel without providing a credit card number to guarantee the reservation, right? In the car rental industry, it's still possible. Why do you think is such a difference here between the two industries?
One of the things is that the practice of applying a no-show situation or a fee for not showing has varied according to the country. And a lot of our car rental partners and a lot of our car rental companies are global in nature. There has been some reluctance, I think, to adopt to that because car rental companies prefer to have to be able to feature flexibility when possible. But then there are commercial considerations, car utilization. To define what I mean by car utilization, making sure that the products that we have are utilized at a high rate. And the idea of compensating the company for what could be a difficult situation to navigate through, otherwise the no-show rate. So there's a need to try to standardize the way that we communicate those differences between the car rental companies. We just want to make sure that as a trade organization that we make sure that we are recommending the best standards for communicating that.
So there is still a call to the industry to work together and solve the no-show problem in one form or another.
Yes.
Okay. Joe, I think we are already at the end of our conversation. It was super interesting talking to you today, and I believe as well for the audience, good to understand that in the car rental industry, in the mobility industry, there is as well an association looking at the standards. I found it very interesting. I believe the audience as well. Thank you so much. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for the next episode of the Amadeus Mobility Talks. Goodbye.